There you go.
Idioto superior.
Myself a lot.
This is on topic.
Lately.
Do I have ADHD?
Okay. So there's a question that I've been asking myself a lot lately.
I had an incredibly trash can day, and
Joe's 500
has been both impressive and funny.
Thank
you for all you do.
Thanks for being with us, episode. Paul, you did.
I'm constantly distracted.
Wait. I wasn't listening.
My room is a mess.
I cleaned this yesterday.
And getting my keys everywhere. Do I have ADHD? And it seems like a lot of people on the internet are asking the exact same question. But the thing is, diagnosis can be a bit tricky. And the ADHD community is divided into two sides. People who think ADHD is being overdiagnosed, and the people that think it's being underdiagnosed. A key criteria for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is that it shows up at a very early period of life. And that's according to the DSM, a manual published by the American Psychiatric Association. It's essentially a huge guide with standardized criteria that doctors use to diagnose mental disorders. And according to the latest edition, there are 5 big things that need to be checked off to determine if someone has ADHD. First, you need to show persistent patterns of at least 6 symptoms from at least one of 2 categories. And these symptoms had to exist before the age of 12, be present in 2 or more different settings, interfere with your social, academic, or professional abilities, and not be, quote, better explained by another mental disorder. If you do meet these criteria, the good news is that ADHD medications are super effective. You might be familiar with Ritalin. It was introduced back in 1955, and since then, more pharmaceutical companies developed new types of ADHD medication. Today, about 75% of ADHD patients respond to one of 2 types of stimulants. Methylphenidate, which is in brands like Ritalin and Concerta, and amphetamine, which is found in Adderall. But not everyone thinks this boom in drugs is a positive thing.
First of all, it's weird that a diagnosis that used to be applied to about 3% of the population to 15%. An enormous increase in the diagnosis.
This is Dr. Alan Francis, and he believes that ADHD is being overdiagnosed.
This is coincident to the drug companies coming out with new and very expensive products that gave them both the method and the means to aggressively market ADHD as a disorder, selling the ill in order to sell their pills.
According to a number of studies done in the US, Taiwan, Iceland, and Canada, the youngest kid in the classroom was way more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD than the oldest kid.
What this means is that immaturity is being turned into a mental disorder and being treated with a pill.
In 2013, the DSM
I agree with that 100%.
criteria brought in to include children who had symptoms by age 12, where previously it required symptoms before the age 7. This looser criteria could possibly increase the risk of more children being misdiagnosed for ADHD and put on drugs. And all drugs have side effects, even the effective ones. Studies have found that ADHD medications increase heart rate and blood pressure. Other side effects include strokes, depression, addiction. In rare cases, misdiagnosis can mean treating the wrong problem altogether.
If you make a misdiagnosis of ADHD in an adult who has bipolar disorder and give him stimulants, he'll become much worse.
On the other hand,
there is a pattern in psychiatry. If you go back to schizophrenia 60 years ago, people used to say that schizophrenia wasn't a psychiatric disorder.
This guy doesn't need pills, he needs a fucking mic.
Life's done. We don't have that conversation. 30 years ago, the same argument was applied to depression. We don't have that discussion. And in 20 or 30 years from now, we will no longer be having this discussion about ADHD.
This is Dr. David Goodman, and he thinks ADHD is being underdiagnosed.
In one survey, they found that 4.5% of adults in the United States likely have ADHD. But what's really striking are 2 important facts. One was that 75% of the adults presumed to have ADHD had never been diagnosed. And of those with ADHD, 45% were receiving mental health treatment, but not for ADHD.
And this is a big problem, especially for women. Women are generally hard.
Chat. I have a small story. When I was young, okay, I was one of the kids that would ruin the whole class, and they hated me. Everybody hated me. The teachers, and I was always hanging out. I would hang out with the crazy kids. Most of the time, I was with the crazy kids all the time. And some of them, as they grew older into high school, they were getting diagnosed, and they would get some of these pills. And one of them had like Concerta or some shit, right? Some high doses of like Concerta, and it would like knock them the fuck out, dude. Like when I would play with them in Saturday and you know weekends, he'd be fine. When I'd play, when we would go to school, he was like zombie. He was like almost like he was just kind of doled out, and almost like killed his personality. Right, and that's kind of crazy.
Harder to diagnose because while hyperactivity is more common in men and boys, inattentiveness is more common for women and girls. Boys are twice as likely to be diagnosed with ADHD as girls are, but many argue that it's not necessarily because it's more common in boys. According to psychologist Ellen Lippman, studies of ADHD were based mostly on hyperactive young boys, leading to a distorted understanding of the disorder. Dr. Goodman also argues that media portrayals of ADHD can add to a stigma that keeps people from seeking treatment.
Hi there! What's your name? My name's Abernathy Darwin Dunlap, but you can call me ADD on account of the fact that I have ADD, which...
You were just like the worst student in the world, weren't you? They said I had AD... something. Can we have class outside?
An extensive study has shown that ADHD patients who get treatment have much more beneficial academic and social outcomes in the long run than those who don't. So the real problem here isn't really...
No shit, dude. They're fucking psychostimulants. They're super strong, man. They're like extreme potent central nervous system stimulants. No fucking kidding. They're better academics. Are you kidding me?
So the real problem here isn't really whether there are too many or too few people diagnosed with ADHD. It's are the right people getting the right treatment. And that's something that you're not going to find on the internet.
Chat. I did those tests over and over again because my teacher didn't like me. And they recommend my mom that I seek like counseling or some shit. And I came to a point at some point in second year high school, they told me they were going to kick me off the school if I didn't at least take another official test at the fucking doctors. So I filled out a fucking like 3-page survey, or even more, like 4 or 5. Right? And it made me talk to a girl, and then we would do maybe we've done this before. They put it in front of a computer, and they wire your brain up, right? And you have a screen, and it says either X or Y. And in the back, there'd be a sound, and it would say X or Y. And you have to click only when it was X or something. Or when it said X, or I don't remember what it was. And then they would quantify when you click at the right time and at the wrong times, right? Whether it was from audio or visual stimuli, right? And then it was, I don't know where I'm going with the story, but yeah, that was it. I did those a bunch of times over my high school thing. You did the same thing? Yeah. So eventually,
on March 11th, 2020,
I did try some of those products when I was like way younger, like first year, second year high school, dude. I tried the whole thing, all of them. But later on, they decided that I wasn't ADD, ADHD or whatever, so they just, you know, that was it. Yeah, the products, yo. The juice. Okay, one more. Yeah, so sometimes I'd be diagnosed yes, sometimes no, sometimes yes. Like, it vary. That seems kind of weird to me, dude. That seems like very unprecise and stupid. Oh, Pog.
This is Michael Beirut.
I'm Michael Beirut. I'm a graphic designer.
You might be familiar with his work.
Chat, Is there a reason why their microphones always like have a direction to it?
But
like,
interestingly, he thinks that
he's always
logos
above,
are just kind of
behind
overrated.
the mic.
I am actually often very ambivalent about them.
Let's back out a second. What is a logo? Basically the face of a company.
Some are beloved, some the swastika is a logo and it's reviled, you know?
They have to work at tiny sizes and huge.
There are 3 specific types. The first type is the word mark.
The word mark is the easiest one, and it's the one that we're all most familiar with. I mean, John Hancock's signature is kind of a word mark, and it can look crisp, clean, and modern like the new Google logo looks. It can look somehow that it has roots in a shared heritage the way the Coca-Cola logo looks, you know?
The second is pictorial.
Pictorial logos often function as a kind of rebus, you know, it's a picture and you say what's in the picture and it sort of is identifying the name of the company, sometimes directly like Target, sometimes more...
Guys, am I the one who thinks that, seriously, Target's logo just kind of sucks balls? I know it's meant to be simple, but this is just trash. I fucking hate Target logo.
Sometimes more indirectly.
I have a very negative feedback when I see it.
The third kind is kind of the holy grail, abstract iconography.
It's everyone's favorite kind of category because it just seems almost like magic, you know. As a designer, people come to me and they'll say, oh, I want like something like the Nike swoosh. They think that the Nike swoosh was the Nike swoosh the day it was drawn, but it was nothing the day it was drawn.
The company that birthed Nike commissioned a design student named Carolyn to draw some ideas, and the Nike founders didn't really like them.
They sort of said, oh, let's use that one.
It wasn't like an overnight success.
And then they started putting on the science of shoes. The shoes were good, and then the genius of Nike's marketing apparatus made us further associate that product not merely with performance athletic gear, but with the very idea of athletic achievement itself.
And that's how, over a long time, a little mark means something big.
That's exactly how religious symbols work. It's obviously not just anything inherent in these shapes, but it's about what those shapes have come to represent in the minds of the people who are looking at them.
But there's a 4th type of logo that goes beyond these 3 types and can use elements of each of them. The logo system, a graphical framework that can have endless permutations. The first gigantically popular example of the logo system would be MTV. But Google's Daily Doodles are another great example of the logo system, a familiar mark that can also point to other ideas and issues. This approach all has to do with technological change.
It used to be if a company was doing a logo, there'd be this military operation by which it would be inscribed on all their equipment and on their airplanes and their retail facilities, and gold pins and cufflinks would be made for the executive suite and put on spittoons and ashtrays and the top of the skyscraper in which they dwell and on everyone's business card, right? Nowadays, none of that's as important as an email signature or your Twitter avatar, or the little thing that sits next to your URL. And those things are much more ubiquitous, and they can be changed at the drop of a hat.
Beirut used this system approach for his Hillary Clinton logo.
We wanted to have a mark reflect the electorate and reflect the issues. Those simple forms that comprise the H with the arrow in it are actually designed to hold not just 2 colors, say red and blue, but any colors you want.
The use of logo systems seems to be continually on the upswing now, probably because it allows the brand using it to expand the conversation beyond its own name.
The logo kind of reminds people that that's what our priority is today.
But at the end of the day, regardless of the shape, style, or system, it might not matter what your logo is.
It really is about thinking of these symbols as being empty vessels in a way, and then you pour the meaning into them.
So what's this all add up to? Basically, those fights people get in about new logos are pretty misguided.
They think they're judging a diving competition, but actually all these organizations are in swimming competitions. It's not what kind of splash you make when you hit the water, it's how long you keep your head above that water.
Logos need to have a long life, not win points in a discussion.
Smart.
12 years after the birth of that Nike logo, Nike came back to that graphic design student, Carolyn, with a gift.
A Nike ring with her own trademark on it, the swoosh.
Thank you very much, it's beautiful.
That's it!
An undisclosed amount of Nike stock.
Wow.
They make fucking billions of dollars, and they give her a fucking ring and a piece of paper.
Wow.
In 1973, when it was designed, her pay was $35.
Oh, stock. Oh my god. Oh, they gave her stock. Oh my god. I can't believe it. How generous. How much talk do you think there is in there, dude? How many songs? How many songs? How much is Nike worth? Nike? Value? I don't fucking know, dude. It doesn't tell me. 16 billion, it says.
100.
Guys, I have a question. This is gonna be really bad. This is a very bad question, boys. How is it worth 16 billion when people offered to buy like Snapchat for like 10 billion? Yet Snapchat doesn't have shit. They don't even have merch. Yo. Like, come on, bro. Seriously, dude.